The Venetians are the web-footed children of poisonous frogs and sea eels. We do not need to fear them. Those Venetians can count money faster than a Normandy fishwife. Let's see how fast they count their dead. Our foes don't look much like soldiers. More like a bunch of bankers, in fact. But then the loot from their corpses will be worth all of our trouble. God's wounds! I don't know who smells worse, our foppish Milanese enemies or their repulsive womenfolk. Those fops from Milan think that they are soldiers. I laugh at such an idea, for they can barely lift a bag of money, let alone a sword. Those Milanese are good with money. It will help them when they count their dead. Will it help their womenfolk with the mourning? Those Sicilians are like Englishmen. They come from a nasty little island, enjoy the company of sheep, and eat trimming a little with a broadsword. Those Sicilians are both treacherous and cruel. But they have no true metal. This will be the work of minutes, I'm sure. Those Sicilians are the servants of Satan. The devil must be scraping the barrel to use such as them. Let us return them to their master. This is an unholy day, that we should have to fight honest men who listen to the falsehoods of lying prelates, toadying cardinals, and the Antichrist Pope. The Antichrist has sent his soldiers against us. Let us hope that God is merciful to men, led astray so badly by wicked creatures of Satan. These papal servants make a brave show, but that is not enough against the likes of us. False prayers will not turn aside our swords. Lord God preserve us. These Danes are a foul folk, cold-hearted as fish and as cruel as the dark seas that surround their homeland. If these dullards take pleasure in anything, it is in the suffering of honest men. As honest men, it follows, then, that our honor requires us to fight. Our enemies today are Danes, a people as cold and as unlovable as their bleak land, and as cruel as the northern seas. Anyone who falls into their hands can expect but a scant token of God's mercy. The scrofulous Danes are not fit enemies for you, men, but do not let pity weaken you. Cut them down when the time comes, and God will thank you for it. Our foes today are dangerous and mad in equal measure. The hot sun bakes madness into many creatures, especially Egyptians. Watch them closely and beware their tricks. Our foes today are masters of falsehood and trickery. These Egyptians doubtless have plans to win the day, but they are fools to believe that they can prevail against brave men. Our Egyptian foes should pray to their God. Shortly they will be judged before him. We will send them all to heaven or hell soon enough. Scotsman! There is no creature on earth as low as vile as a Scotman, save an Englishman. That they both come from the same dank and dismal island is enough to damn them all in my eyes. The pox take the lot of them, or failing that, our swords! There. Your Scotsman fights well and looks like a man, but I ask you to consider that any people who make a virtue of playing the bagpipe should be despised and killed, if only to save our hearing. It seems a pity to take a sword to Scotsmen when we treasure a shared dislike of the English. But they have chosen to stand here and oppose us, and so must pay the price. Those heathen Aztecs yonder are children. Children of the devil himself, for none but Satan would have spawned such a brood of murderers and sinners. Kill them now, and save yourselves. Those Aztecs are bred from the blood of Cain, and they delight in bloody perversity and sin. No man who kills an Aztec here does any wrong in the sight of God or any honest man. He does only good. Today you will face cruel and pagan foes. Every one of these Aztecs that you cut down will cleanse the sin. Do not stay your hands. Look, you noble French. Look to your France. There is the loathsome Turk. God will bless our bloody work today. At them, and victory awaits. The Turks are cruel men, known throughout the world for their harsh ways. It is well that they meet justice at the hands of noble Frenchmen, for any man in France is noble compared to them. Our foes today are masters of cruelty. These Turks doubtless have plans to torture us all, but they are fools to believe that they can prevail against noble-hearted Frenchmen. I do not like the look of these Poles. They have a pox-head, moonstruck and knavish set to their faces, and obvious lack of all breeding. So be careful that they do not bite you, brave Frenchmen. These Poles are more than half wolf, methinks. And like wolves everywhere, they deserve to be hunted down and slain. Let's to the hunt, men! Men, these Poles lack all valor, and that spirit which makes Frenchmen the envy of the world. Let us treat them with the respect they merit, and kill them cleanly, showing how sons of noble France make war. God's wounds and the blessed saints, I am angered beyond endurance by the sight of a French army taking the field against us. Against us! That they should have the audacity, the brazen gall to do so is beyond enduring. I would have them all dead, and their heads upon pikes. Let us pray, men, that our foes live up to the reputation of Frenchmen as great lovers. For if they have exerted themselves in that endeavor, they may lack the strength to swing a sword now. Those Frenchmen opposite must hold us in scant regard. For them to even take the field against us is an offense against the natural order of things. Have they no shame at the course they are set upon? Our foes call themselves followers of all that is holy, Roman, and an empire. Lies that must offend God. They offend me greatly too. That imperial army yonder is full of dunderheads, knaves, and fools. The good thing about men with wooden heads is that they split easily beneath the axe. Over there stands a miserable collection of sausage-eating, beer-swilling, imperial pudding heads. I think they will welcome death. The island of England produces three things: wool, herrings, and drunken sots. Well, given that sheep have more dignity and fish more wit, I can only assume that the vomit-stained rabble over there is an English army. Sainte Geneviève protect us. The poxed stench of those English knaves is as bad as their sour beer. My horse is quite disturbed by it, and as I lack my horse, I would not have him upset for much longer. Saint-Denis preserve us. I have seldom seen a more dispiriting sight than the English army. They have no sense of style, no élan, no manly virtues, no reason to live, no decent food, no attractive womenfolk. And their leaders, oh why, the devil himself would be shamed to have them in hell. God's blood. The smell of these Hungarians is enough to sour good wine and turn any honest man's stomach to boot. Let us be done with them quickly. These Hungarians make a brave show, but that is hardly enough when it comes to battle. We shall see shortly if they know how to die well. Our Hungarian foes would do well to run back to the stables where they were burst. We will shortly harness them, geld them, and break them to our purpose. Our Mongol foes have the shape of men, but are not men. They are Satan's lapdogs, his imps, sent to test good Christian resolve with unholy savagery. Show no mercy, for they will certainly show none to you. Our Mongol enemies today think themselves to be great warriors, and perhaps they are according to their lights. When I say they have made their match in you, noble French, I do not think even the meanest peasant in our ranks should feel anything other than pity when they see our Mongol foes. Pity for the horses, having to support such bunny asses. These Byzantines are hardly fit enemies for Frenchmen. Our foes today are a bunch of backstabbing knaves and conspiratorial liars. I can think of no people in Christendom less honest. These Byzantine fools are less than worthy foes. They should go back to their whoremongering and leave soldiering to men who know their business. Our foes, the foul Byzantines, cannot be trusted by good simple Frenchmen. Keep your wits about you, men, and strike as soon as the opportunity presents. Our foes today are Moors, which means that they are all heathen and godless loons. Killing them is a duty and a pleasure for noble and Christian Frenchmen. Oh, by Saint Geneviève, those Moorish madmen over there have a peculiar reek. That is the stench of the heathen, mixed with the smell of the camels that they love so much. The nosegay large enough to mask that reek has yet to be created. If our Moorish foes had any sense, they would flee back to the scorpions and snakes that guarded them. For shame they would not face peasants, let alone brave French men-at-arms. The Russian peasants we face today will rue the day they were born. Those that are not slain must be driven back to their wild motherlands, with such tales of woe and blood that the word Frenchman will cause strong men to go pale and children to cry for their mothers. Our Russian foes should never have left their hovels to fight against French soldiers. They will think kindly of their master's whip by the time we are done with them, those that still haven't cudgelled brains within their skulls. Over there are the Russians. I hear their women folks are bear-like in manners and looks, and because of that they deserve the pity of all Frenchmen. But as they aren't about to run away, that's as much pity as they'll get. Here you face a Spanish army full of mewling, over-pious fools and milksops. They spend too long on their knees to be good fighters, and lack all the spirit that makes Frenchmen brave. I hate them with a passion, and it will be my pleasure to lead you to victory. God has created two sorts of men, Spaniards and those who kill Spaniards. God loves only the killers of Spaniards, so by Saint-Denis, let us serve God and be loved for it. Your Spanish enemies are proud, perhaps too proud. In this place, I mean to see them humbled and cut down to size. We'll see how these overproud Iberians like the taste of French steel. By Saint Geneviève, I mean to see these Portuguese vagabonds humbled and their banners trampled beneath my feet. Their fish-faced ways offend me, and I suspect offends their wives too. God's blood, would you want to sleep with something that miserable? Our Portuguese enemies reek of fish guts and their own vomit. The one because that is their trade, the other because they lack all courage. I suspect their smell has not been improved by the knowledge that they face Frenchmen. Cheer, you proud French. Cheer, and put fear in the hearts of the fish-reeking enemy. That way they'll be less inclined to dispute our right to victory, because these Portuguese are fishermen, not soldiers. Rebels are an offense in the sight of God. They turn upon their own kind and their own masters. They turn upon the natural order of the world, and they turn against God. They deserve nothing but death. Our foes are rebels and traitors, and deserve nothing but the edge of the blade upon their stinking necks. And a sword is a merciful end to them, for they should face the gallows. These rebellious knaves and villains are not fit to breathe the same air as we honest Frenchmen. They must all die before dawn comes again. This is a mercy, because they richly deserve the gallows for turning against their betters. These children of Timor are foul beasts, fit only to live in wastelands and perhaps stables. On the other hand, why should we upset valuable horses by letting them into stables? We need only kill them to make God's world a better place. Cheer your hearts out, and show these timid beasts what Frenchmen sound like when their blood is hot. Soon they will feel the righteous strength of French arms. These horse lovers are not fit enemies for you men, but they are the best that I can do today. I'm sure you will do your best, as noble-hearted Frenchmen at arms, to kill them anyway. And at the last, I have no more words, save that I want them all dead. Dead! Dead! Dead as a German's manhood! And so to it. I want nothing more than to be at those low-born swines. Yeah! And now to it. But by God's blood, I will have no more chatter about my generalship, or lack of it. If you can find nothing better to say, keep your tongue still. The tongue that wags is the one cut short. And now to it. I shall not allow a man here to spoil my cunning scheme for battle by poor execution. Plots I have laid, and plots will be carried out faultlessly, or French gizzards will be laid out. Now, cheer, and go to the fight! And at the last, I'll have nothing more said about my skills as a general. I am a great general, a French general, your general. If you do not love that, you do not love France, and Saint Geneviève will rightly see that you go to hell. On that happy thought, you should cheer and dishearten your foes. And now I pray you, listen well to orders. Good French valor and a little obedience, and all will be well. And now we come to it. Listen to the orders, for I do not shout because I like the sound of my own voice, although I have a mellifluous tone and a good command of our French tongue. I would have some orders obeyed. Now I would be the first at the enemy. My honor as a Frenchman demands it. I will have all dead before me. I will have them dead. Let no man dare gainsay me. And at last, I will tell you I know there is a touch of the Norman in all Frenchmen. Your bloody-handed Viking ancestors knew how to fight. Now, death to our foes! Yeah! And I, at the last, I would have enemy carcasses hung up like butchered hogs afore long. It sounds most repulsive for a French gentleman, but I have found that blood has kept my complexion beautifully clear for many years. And now I say this, I will have my measure of blood in this battle, blood aplenty. I have found being covered in blood is a tonic, a pleasing aphrodisiac to my happy soul, so I will not be thwarted in this affair. And so, let's get on with it then. Yes, that would be the best thing. Mother told me that I should try to be inspiring and such like, and I hope I've raised your spirits a bit with these few words. Yes. Well, let's get on. And so we come to it. There's nothing so becoming a man in battle as a noble air. As Frenchmen, you naturally have it. Put on a brave seeming, and the reality soon follows. Now march! And now we go forth. I will not willingly keep company with cowards or Englishmen, for I am accounted valiant in France. But fie, I see no reason for concern when I look at your French faces. March away! Bravely now! And now, good Frenchmen, be happy. You march in good company. If you die a French soldier, and you can look Saint Peter in the eye. So think not on death, and your hearts will carry you on. That is what I do in every battle, and I am numbered amongst the brave of France. And now, brave soldiers of France, I will await your return from the field of valor, certain that my presence in the rear is a great support to your efforts. Were I to go forward, what aid could I be? One more sword at most, whereas here I can be a tower of strength for all. So march away! And now the muse, nay, the spirit of war, has come to me. I feel a great need to study the field from this vantage point, and issue such orders as are necessary from here. Go to it, good Frenchmen, I will be watching your every move like a hawk. And lastly, the art of generalship lies in detachment, brave Frenchmen. For that way orders are dispassionate and crisp. Therefore, it is entirely right that I remain at a safe distance where I can consider the weighty problems of command in a calm fashion. Your enemy awaits! And remember, by Saint-Denis, I will have all things done according to the traditions of war. We will shame our opponents with our natural French nobility. Now cheer, and affright them! I said cheer! And lastly, some think me a hard taskmaster. I say to them, so what? Would you have defeat or victory? What would you have for France? I would have victory! And so to battle. Get the tedious business done, and then hey-ho to the wine! I am a proud Frenchman, and I know what is important! And at the last... Look, I could be raising a goblet, don't you know? I've got some very nice red. Needs to breathe for a time, but... Okay, to battle then! And so to the last, I say this to the enemy general. God's bomb, I've dropped my last bottle! Booger, as the English say! Oh, someone's going to pay for this! To battle! And think on this. I am a well-read man. I have wrangled, conjugated, ciphered, accounted, studied, and yet, there is still simple enjoyment to be had from slaughtering the enemies of France. And lastly, as a man of learning and culture, a man whose skill with pen and lute is unmatched in all of France, whose poetry has charmed princesses of the blood, whose wit has confounded learned doctors of the church, I want you to kill those ill-favored sots yonder. And after all that, go and kill those ill-bred, peasant-pumping, donkey-bottom-biting knaves, if you please. And now, just go and kill those poxed, sheep-stroking knaves, will you? I doubt any of them can choose between oyster and clams, and for that alone, just kill them! And when all is done, shall I be allowed the pick of the enemy's women? Me? With my reputation, what else would you be thinking? Am I not a Frenchman, with a Frenchman's healthy lust to think on? And I would be failing in my pleasurable duty as a Frenchman if I did not ask you to put aside a doxy or two from the enemy camp for my personal attention. Battle always gives me appetites that must be sated. Let's go get them! And so we go to battle. We, band of brothers, will go on to a great victory for France. And when we have won that victory, we will drink together until all grief is drowned in a lake of claret. And so, if God wills it, I will die content in this good French company among my comrades in arms. But talk of death is unseemly. Let us say rather that I would not share glory with anyone other than you, brave Frenchmen! And kind souls have called me mad, but I am not. It is true that I did think I was a frog for a while, but I got better. I've been hit on the head by a moonbeam, you see, and actually became a newt. Now let's to the fight! And lastly, men have said that I and my wits are but passing strangers. That is entirely true, I fear. My wits do not really care for me, and I would sooner be at dice with my bladder. However, my bowels have a plan for this battle, and we shall win it! And at the last, be assured, my lunacy is quite past in all respects. Oh, yes, quite past, I'm sure on it. Oh, yes, sure, quite certain. No doubt about it. No. Ah! Spiders! I have fought long and hard in the service of our Lord. My sins have long been washed away in battle, fighting his enemies and those of Mother Church. This battle will wash away your sins too, if you fight with courage and with the Lord's name on your lips. You know me. I have slain many heretics, pagans, heathens, and malefactors for our Mother Church. I stand with you now as a man of war, your general, who would lead you to another victory in God's name. So let us go forth and conquer! And finally, I tell you that I have fought many battles, but I faced this one with the knowledge that I have followed the cross and done God's work. Because I have done that, He will not allow me to face defeat. Victory is ours, for it is in the gift of our Lord. Now kneel. Bow your heads to your Savior, and look only to God to grant us victory. Only with His aid can France surely triumph. And now I trust my life to God, for I know our French cause is true and just. So pray, you bloody-handed, ill-bred rogues, and make sure God knows you think the same. And now, any man here who is not praying for our victory had better make his peace with God, for he'll find none with me or in any French province hereafter. Now let me kiss the cross, lest I die. I place my fate in the hands of the Lord. And now all is said. Let's do it pell-mell, and send our enemies to fry in hell. And so let's be about the foe. Does anyone else get a powerful appetite after battle? I do, and I invite brave men to join me at table afterwards. And now, lift up your banners and march away, to glory, noble French, and a bloody day! And now, put your trust in good steel and honest men. Then let us march to whatever God wills! And so, raise high your banners, make your peace with God and all Frenchmen, set your face against the foe, and do not brood on what is to come. Go with God! There are knaves and base-born peasants who doubt my abilities as a general. To them, I offer only the sword's edge, as I will not waste breath in contradiction of their lies. We shall prove them wrong with the coming defeat of our enemy. Doubt has been expressed about my abilities as a general. We'll hear no more such talk. I have it in mind to win a great victory for France, and that will not come about if jesters, one might almost say English jackanapes, are allowed to spread falsehoods and lies. I have heard that I do not have the ability to herd sheep, let alone command an army. I smile at such idle tittle-tattle, and would set a spur or two into the arse of any who speaks thus. But this is where such gossip ends. On this field, my run of poor luck changes, and we march to victory. French honor is a prickly thing, and it sits ill with some to take orders even on the field of battle. Yet here, unless we are to fall victim to the enemy, we must have order. And so I pray you, listen to your captains and lords, and do as commanded. I carry many great wounds, all honorably earned in battle, fighting for fair France. Some call me ugly, but I only smile, and with good reason. The ladies are especially attentive to one who has proven his manhood so many times. Shortly, I mean to prove myself once more. Well, yes, then it's time to fight, methinks, and I suppose we must all do our best, and that kind of thing. And let's try to do it with some good old-fashioned French valor. Yes, valor and honor. That's the word. And be resolute, because I am in command. And you are good Frenchmen. That was the other thing. Remember France! Oui! I am known for my bravery. I'm proud to come from France, a nation famed throughout the world for its valiant men. So I say to you, all Frenchmen are born with valor in their hearts. Remember this, and the enemy will tremble. Valor is becoming in a man. It gives him poise and a certain appeal to the ladies. I tell you this as one who is accounted brave. But then, to be brave among Frenchmen is to be brave among the brave. There is comfort in that, should you find your own courage slipping. In war there is little to becoming a man as valor, and courage can take many forms. Those malcontents and gossips who would question the need for me to gallop up and down our lines should remember that even where the enemy is not, a general may still be needed. I'll say no more on this matter now. What higher compliment can I pay you, good Frenchmen, when I say that you can handle this battle without my aid? Rather than fight and, although I should not say this, get in the way, I shall remain here and order the preparations for our victory feast. I know that French honor demands satisfaction, but I will have no rashness and disobedience in this army. Without order, we are a rabble, fit only to be counted as Englishmen. Doubt me not. I will have the skin from the back of any man who does not listen to orders. It is an honor to be thought a well-educated Frenchman. But I tell you that in all the books I've ever studied, I have never seen an account of something as lowly and disgusting as our foes. Even bookworms and dusty beetles have more pride than they. Arse-pickles, puke stains, cut-pitch fondlers, whoresome mollies and male harlots, bomb sniffers, lusting nun-hounds and winkle suckers. Have I missed out anything concerning these our foes? The bards of fair France will sing themselves hoarse in the retelling of our great deeds. Shortly we will pluck victory from among the thorns of peril. For the rest of our days, we will look back on this moment and think how our lives changed irredeemably for the better, unless we end up dead, of course. I think you all know my quality as I know yours, good Frenchmen. We're not here to dance a pavane. We are here for the grim business of war. It is never a pretty thing. But I will make sure it is our foes who do any dying that is needed. All I ask of you is that you fight like Frenchmen. It's not my way to send men into needless peril when in battle. If I ask something, it is necessary. I do not expect more of you than I would ask of myself, good Frenchmen. I expect only victory here, if all of us do our parts when the time comes. And so we come to the hour of battle. I will give you victory, if you have the valor to fight like true Frenchmen when I ask it. I will not needlessly ask men to die. I will not throw your lives away. But I do expect you to do your part, and gain victory as a consequence. And so to battle. Try not to get killed, and when this is all over, we'll drink to our continued good health. There will be some tedious work later, counting the enemy dead, I fear. But I'm sure a few fellows of good peasant stock can be prevailed upon to deal with any unpleasantness that will upset the festivities. Men, I am undecided. There are arguments, according to the Roman authorities, for and against letting the enemy make the first mistake. I am in two minds about this battlefield too. I both like and dislike aspects of it. Still, I'm sure things will shortly become clear. By Sainte Geneviève, this moment is one worth savoring. I stand with the glorious company of Frenchmen. We face a foe to test our mettle. We have put our faith in God to deliver victory. Now, all that remains is the moment of battle. I have no fears that French arms will fail. Look to your front, my brave soldiers, and prepare. Now we take up the sword and buckle on our armor. We look to Sainte Geneviève to protect our souls. We do all these things knowing that peril is close by. But I do them with a glad heart because I am surrounded by French lions. Pray now, you noble French, for the intercession of the Saint-Denis, Geneviève, Michael, Barbara, Jude, and Drausinus. If you ride a horse, add good Saint-Martin to your prayers. And if any of you should see a black cat nearby, throw a stone at Satan's familiar and drive away the bad luck. Why are there no men as good as Frenchmen in all the world? What made God order things to so vex my life? I ask because the sight of poxed foreigners always offends me. Cry unto the heavens, soldiers. Let God and Sainte Geneviève hear your righteous voices. Beg for the strength to master this enemy, for we have righteousness in our French cause. And when you have done that, take up your swords and be armored in face. The love of God is 1,000 times stronger than any mortal armor. His wrath against our foes is 1,000 times better than 1,000 arrows. Our faith gives us his aid, and more, it will give us victory. Now cry Saint-Denis, and look for that victory. Our foes are ungodly beasts, and so we are but the swords in the hands of the hosts of heaven. We do God's glorious work, and if we fall, we do so in his cause. If we triumph, we do so because he has willed a glorious French victory. Now, bow your heads, and let's to the appointed task. And so we come to battle. A battle, honest Frenchmen, is your chance to better yourselves, to gain glory and position, no matter how lowly your position now. Once all is done, the spoils will ease the way to preferment. I promise loot, women, drink, honor, glory, more loot, more women, all for the taking. Through Saint Genevieve's intercession, we have been brought to this place, brought here to fight for God's glory and in his name. Our enemies must quail at the thought of our French might. We would do well to pray, because the shedding of blood is an offense, but it is one that we willingly do, for by it we establish God's peace. We do this for France and God. Well, here is a thing of glory and greatness. We have a foe worth the killing, and Frenchmen beside me who wait upon my command. I can also feel an inspiring speech coming on. So listen to me. Now, listen to me. I have brought you here to fight. I brought you here because you're noble-hearted Frenchmen and give any enemy pause. But I promise nothing, save a hard struggle. Would you have me tell you anything else? I will not lie. Not for any reasons of strategy or state. Hold high the banners. Let our enemies see that it is a French army that comes to destroy them. Whatever comes of this day, our names will be remembered whenever courage is admired. The time has come. Make your peace with God, and let's be about our bloody task. Let's make this quick, for the enemy women folk are in dire need of some proper attention. To the fray! Let our rallying cry be France, France and Saint-Denis! Frenchmen, it is time. Look to your weapons. say your prayers, and kneel before God. Steady, brave Frenchmen, steady. Let them do the dying here. I say only this. You fight for France, and France expects great things. You will do nothing less. Frenchmen bow the knee to no other man. Least of all base-born peasants. Cut them down. Strike them down! Strike them down for France and Saint-Denis! Now cheer, and put fear in the hearts of those who would oppose brave Frenchmen. Cheer, you noble French. Let the enemy know what lusty warriors sound like. What lackwits, what fools! Killing our foes will be a mercy to the world! What a rabble of low-born, ignorant puke-stained zanies! I'm amazed that they managed to all face in the same direction! Let's wash them off the surface of the earth! The enemy looks more suited to pushing dung carts than to battle! Kill them! We have a problem. Those peasants may run away before we have a chance to kill them! To battle! Men, my blood is hot, and I would be fighting rather than talking. Advance! Prayers will serve as well as armor in what is to come. Take up your arms! Forward! Cheer, you lusty French! Cheer! This is going to be exciting! I would see our foes as carrion before I next break fast. To arms, you French! To arms! I hesitate to call our enemies stupid. It's a useful word, and does not need to be devalued. Instead, I call them targets. For France! Battle is upon us. When you come at the enemy, try to ignore the smell of dung. Fear of you will have done that. Forward! That foul reek, redolent of sottish Englishmen, is caused by simple fear. Our enemies need killing to end their misery. God hates our enemies. He hates any but true Frenchmen. So let's do God's work and slaughter them. Let's be at them, my children. Let's be at them. I think they've manured that bit of the field enough now. Sainte-Geneviève prevents us from looking like our foes. What a rabble of moon-faced peasants and reeking scum! The gleam in a fierce Frenchman's eye is enough to unnerve our foes. How much worse the steel in that Frenchman's fist! Saint-Denis preserve us. We could catch all kind of diseases from that boxed rabble before we kill them. Let's end this now! Men, a short battle, and then a long session at the wine tuns. Go with God. To arms, men! To arms! Slay as many as you can, and all will be well for France this day. To arms, you glorious French! This field needs watering with the blood of our enemies! Brave Frenchmen, it is time to fight, and maybe die. But let's make sure the enemy do most of the latter. Death, my brave fellows, will be busy shortly. But if I have any say, he will take the enemy first. To arms! We did not come to this place looking for anything but victory. France does not expect us to live with anything less. Our enemies are unmannered dogs and peasants. That is why their backside rumbles so. That and fear. This will be a grim day for our foes. They face Frenchmen, and the thought alone eats at their resolve. The enemy? The enemy? Bah! I've eaten oysters more murderous than they. Men, a good battle always makes me frisky. So save me a girl or two from their baggage. Fear does its work already amongst our foes. Shortly, good French swords will do more. Let's do it then. I'm of a mind to spend the rest of the day with a lover or two. To the fray! Saint-Denis preserve us. Those rabid fools need killing, but do not let them bite you! Let's kill those dogs! Good Lord! I've seen tribe that has more wits than our enemies. How dare they call themselves soldiers? Let's get them! I know that killing old men and children is not a fit task for honest Frenchmen. But battle is never a pleasant business. So let's finish this! One or two of those peasants may be worth a ransom. But do we want their filthy blood money when we can have their blood instead? God's blood. I thought I might be struck blind at the sight of so many deformed wretches, and then I realized they were our enemies! So let's get them! You can tell those are the enemy. No honest Frenchman will let its bowels turn to water so. Fix the peasant dogs with a glaring eye, and strike while they quail before you! Our foes are as mad as Englishmen. Don't catch their lunacy! And if you do, pray to Saint-Denis! Saint-Denis preserve us. There's much work for our swords today! We stand today on high ground, a small advantage in battle. It is not one that I intend to throw away. This ground suits my purpose. The enemy must climb to us, and tired men fight but poorly. The enemy stands on high ground, a small advantage, and one we shall ignore. The foe has chosen his ground well, and we must fight uphill today. This we will do. Here amongst the trees we should wait, and then strike the